Hello and welcome to the Capitol Report on NTD television. I'm Steve Lance. Just weeks after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, Democrat lawmakers are trying to restore it. On Capitol Hill today, the Democrat-controlled House passed a bill to make accessible abortion the law of the land. NTD's Melina Wisecup reports.
The debate over the federal government's role in abortion is once again on full display.
So I lived the days before abortion was safe and legal. Some women died because they sought these dangerous methods on their own.
We are a nation of equal opportunity, not equal outcome. We know that abortion is equal outcome. Give those children the opportunity to live.
House Democrats passed two bills today in response to the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. It would require all 50 states to allow abortions, drawing staunch criticism from conservatives.
This is extreme. It nationalizes abortion for all 9 months, making America just as radical as China, North Korea.
In addition to making abortion access the law of the land, the so-called Protecting Women's Health Act calls parental consent for abortions an obstruction to abortion services.
That from the message from the House Democrats and our groups here today is we are not going back.
Lead Democrats pushing to expand abortion access nationwide held a rally on the Capitol steps to bolster support. More than a dozen states have already implemented abortion bans, and half of the country is expected to have abortion bans enacted in the weeks and months ahead. A second bill passed today would allow people to travel out of state to seek an abortion if it is banned in their home state.
Congress has the authority and the responsibility today to protect people from these unconstitutional efforts to prevent or restrict, impede, or otherwise to punish people traveling to another state to obtain a legal abortion.
But one Republican congressman views this issue from a different angle.
Creates an open door for women to be preyed upon by traffickers and does nothing to protect minors who are transported by predators across state lines to obtain abortions.
This effort today by House Democrats is simply just a messaging tool, a way for them to court more voters who align with their policies. I say this because these two bills will not pass the Senate. As a matter of fact, the Senate just recently failed to pass a bill to nationalize abortion, so Democrats' efforts here to expand abortion access is stalled in Congress. In addition, House Democrats are next week prepared to vote on a bill to protect contraception and codify same-sex marriage. Reporting in Washington, D.C., Melina Wisecup, NTD News.
Maryland police have put protesters outside Supreme Court justices' homes on notice. They say anyone violating the statute on disorderly conduct may be arrested. The Montgomery County Police Department posted a tweet saying that they are committed to preserving First Amendment rights of all individuals, but there are laws for what is allowed. The Maryland County, which is home to several Supreme Court justices, does not allow picketing outside of a residence. But the law does not prohibit people from marching in a residential area without stopping at any particular residence. Picketing may also not disturb the tranquility of the home, harass or emotionally disturb residents. With the inflation rate jumping to near record highs, is there a way out from here? Congresswoman Lisa McClain sat down with me earlier to discuss. Congresswoman Lisa McClain, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Congresswoman, 9.1 inflation exceeding expectations. What would you say are the primary factors driving this?
A lack of understanding of economics and how economics work from this administration. When you put $3 trillion of printed money into our economy, this is not a surprise as to what we're seeing. And we all predicted it. I didn't realize it would come as fast as it has, or as sudden and as steep as it has. But it's cause and effect. Inflation is, simply put, too many dollars chasing too few goods. And the most concerning, I think, about that, we don't have a plan on how to get out of it. And part of the reason is because if you take a look at Biden's economic team, there's nobody there who has ever run a business. You have activists, you have professors. There's a big difference between signing the front of a check and signing the back of a check. And the biggest thing I would share is we need a remedial crash course, or this administration needs a remedial crash course on basic economics.
So you just touched upon it in terms of the plan. Of course, we'd like to hear what the president's plan is. Is there anything that you think Congress could be doing or should be doing to help ease the inflation?
Well, first and foremost, we have a spending problem, right? So we have got to get our spending under control, number one. Number two, we can incentivize American businesses, business here in America. I think we should start with energy, right? Prior to this administration, we were a net exporter of energy. We need to open up and begin to drill here in America. See, the issue that the Green New Deal people don't understand, or this administration doesn't understand, we're still using the same amount of oil. The difference is we're not drilling here on American soil. We're asking our adversaries to drill. Well, that helps fund their countries, not ours. That would stimulate, one, our economy. And again, you've heard this, energy independence is security, right? Think about this as well. With our oil reserves, we've depleted over 50% of our oil reserves, and we've given them to China. What is going on? Tell me how that helps America, helps drive down our inflation. And really, if you want to take a look at green new energy, with the Biden administration, we are dirtier. I think the statistic that I saw was we burn 23% more coal, and we are dirtier under this administration. We've got to get back to American oil, American energy, and American businesses.
There's reports that the president is thinking about rolling back Trump-era tariffs in order to potentially ease inflation. Reports say that the results of doing that would be minimal. What is your take?
China is clearly our biggest threat. And China is a threat to us, in my opinion, on three levels: militarily, educationally, and economically. Again, we need to focus on American companies, American businesses, and incentivize doing business in America. And we need to go back to working with our allies, not our adversaries, our allies, because we are weak right now around the world. I've been around the world, I've met with various leaders, and we look weak on the world stage. And anyone who doesn't believe that is just plain not opening their eyes, and they have a clear distortion of reality. We need to get back to doing business in America with American companies and incentivizing business here. And we need to send a clear message to our adversaries that the human rights violations, all of the negative actions, we'll say, with all the bad actors, we're not tolerating that anymore.
Congresswoman Lisa McClain, thank you.
Thank you.
Citing a lack of action by the federal government, a group of local and national leaders today urged states to use their power to declare an invasion at the southern border. What are they saying, and what challenges does the argument face? NTD's Iris Tao has more.
States do not have to be a passive victim of a failed federal government.
Accusing the Biden administration of failing to address the border crisis, more than a dozen Republican lawmakers and sheriffs from Texas are urging border states to take matters into their own hands.
I'm going to tell you the way it is. There is an invasion.
That by declaring an invasion by drug cartels at the southern border, which should give them additional powers to deport illegal immigrants.
And just in the past few months, our office was involved in seizing more than 1 million fentanyl pills just in Arizona alone. Enough fentanyl to kill the entire state of Arizona and Washington, D.C. The Constitution recognizes the power and the ability of states to protect themselves from an invasion. And that's what Arizona, Texas, and other states need to do.
The Friday call on Capitol Hill comes after multiple Texas counties declared the border situation an invasion and called on Governor Greg Abbott to do the same. But critics say that would be racist and would also equate those seeking asylum with military attackers.
But they're being sent by the cartel.
Yet a sheriff from Texas says such a declaration targets the cartels, which he says are sending in illegal immigrants purposefully.
And the border is being cluttered by the cartel. It's being cluttered by these large groups of people that tie up the Border Patrol, tie up the state resources, tie up the county resources, and therefore the cartel gains the operational control of the border.
And I asked Congressman Jody Arrington for his thoughts.
Do you think such a move of declaring an invasion can stand its legal ground?
I think the Constitution is clear and explicit. And in Article 1, when there's imminent danger to those states, they have the right of self-defense.
We've devoted our teams.
Meanwhile, President Biden this week touted efforts to disrupt fentanyl and human trafficking, while urging more help from Mexico. Reporting in Washington, D.C., Iris Tao, NTD News.
President Biden was greeted by Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia this morning. The White House yesterday issued a statement praising Saudi Arabia's decision to lift a ban on flights to and from Israel. Improving relations with Israel and energy are the key issues for Biden's meeting with Saudi Arabia's 86-year-old monarch and the Crown Prince, who is the presumed heir to the throne. Biden had just arrived from Israel and the West Bank, where he met with Israeli and Palestinian leaders. While visiting a hospital in Jerusalem that serves Palestinians, he announced aid to that hospital network.
So today, I'm pleased to announce the United States is committing an additional $100 million to support these hospitals, your staffs, and that work for the Palestinian people.
The funding is subject to approval by Congress. Biden also announced another $200 million in aid to a UN agency that supports Palestinian refugees. Since taking office, Biden has reversed multiple Trump policies, including suspending aid to Palestinians. On Saturday, Biden will meet with leaders from the Gulf Cooperation Council. Thank you for watching the Capitol Report. If you want to see our full broadcast, check us out at epochtv.com.